Welcome, Lightning Brigade, to my little Ayaka build video. Now, my Ayaka doesn't do the most amount of damage. She is using currently a battle pass weapon, but this can also work for you if you're using the free-to-play weapon that you're getting in Azuma. It doesn't take too long to get it. You can go look at a guide online, or I might end up making a guide if you guys need me to do so. But I want to first give you the role for Ayaka that I think works best for her, which is a DPS. What you can do as well is make her a sub DPS. So sometimes I'll use her just for burst damage on a team with Hu Tao, as you can see right here in our example. So as you can see here from my artifact sets, I'm running 2-piece Nobelesse and 2-piece Blizzard Slayer, and that's specifically because I don't want to over crit with my weapon. I have the Black Sword, and the Black Sword specifically gives me more crit rate, and I'm also running her with Diona, so that's also giving more crit rate because there's 2 cryo characters in the same team. So for my Nobelesse set, not yours, Diona. So that's the reason why I'm currently running this set. What I would recommend to you is the 4-piece Blizzard Slayer, because a lot of people don't have their crit rate high enough or have issues getting their crit rate high enough. The rule for crit rate should be 1 to 2. So for every 2, you want 1 on your crit rate. So you want crit damage to have more, but crit rate still needs to be up. Now for me, right now for Ayaka, this is just 55, but then you also have to add in having Diona in there as well. I don't think that shows up in the statistics here. If it does, and oops on me, but I'm pretty sure it does not. So you can see here I have 185 crit damage, and this isn't even with the crit damage weapon, mind you. If you were lucky enough to get the 5-star, that's ridiculous. But even if you are just using the free-to-play weapon, I have seen damage from it doing quite well. So obviously for Flower, we have flat HP. My substats are really good on this one. I have crit damage and crit rate both at 10%, so that is carrying me a bit. Again, this is going to take a few runs. I've been doing the crowd domain for a very long time, since Ganyu. For this one as well, for my Nobelesse set here, my Nobelesse Feather, flat attack, but also crit damage 19 on this one as well. And then for my Sands, I have attack percentage, and I have crit rate to 11 here. I'm not really paying attention to these other stats. In fact, I might replace this one if I get the chance, but it's still there. You know, it's still nice with the crit rate at 11. Here on my Cryos bonus cup, I have attack percentage up, crit damage up, and a little bit of crit rate. It would have been better if I rolled on both of these two, but it's still good to have a piece like this. This is still a very good piece. And then with my Crown, I have crit damage, and there's no extra crit rate here. Attack percentage is up. I still have a little bit more energy recharge, which is good for the burst. Could care a little less about the elemental mastery, especially the defense. But either way, you can see that these pieces are pretty good. I have farmed that domain for a very long time, trying to get pieces for Mona, for Ganyu, and for Eula. So obviously we have a few more on that one. And this is the set that would be recommended most. People recommend the 4-piece set, so that way you can get your crit rate up while they're frozen. Because with her comp, you will most likely end up freezing quite a lot. So as for talents, the priority for her talents goes burst, auto, and then we go lastly with her skill. I believe burst is first. Obviously the burst has a lot of repeat damage. Her burst gets multiple hits in, and you're gonna get a lot, like a ton of damage from it. You saw from the showcase. I still use her regular charge attack. Within the showcase, I was showing you mostly what her burst can do, since my set is a Nobelesse set. But even still, I still get around, I want to say maybe 3,000, sometimes like 6,000 damage for my crits and for my crit damage. My crit damage and crit rate are pretty high. But with this kind of build, it's not hard to build this back up, other than my crit rate being a bit higher for my sword. So if we go into her talents, her regular attack is a 5-string attack. Now, it says 5 strings, but you're going to see that she does a lot of flurry of attacks. You can see with her charge attack, there's a lot going in there. But her regular attack does do pretty well. I'm not so sure the scaling. Scaling's okay. I'd say I don't know the average for sword scaling, so I'm not going to lie like I know, right? But so far as I've been aware, it does pretty decent damage, at least keeping up with catching, or a little bit more than what catching can do herself with her charge attack. Her E is just an all-around bloom, so you can throw up, you're basically throwing smaller opponents up and also using cryo damage. So if you were to switch into Xingqiu, or if you were switching into Mona, you throw out Mona's E, go over near them, press E, you'll freeze everyone within the general area because it's AoE cryo damage, which is pretty good. So Ayaka's burst, the Kamisato art Sometsu, is where you're going to get most of the damage from with my build. You're going to throw out her E, and it's going to anything that touches the whirlwind of ice is going to be damaged. It's going to be hurt. There is a lot of ticks for this, so it's very, very good. It can also be used, as you saw earlier with Hu Tao, for a little combination there. I don't know how optimal that is. I'm sure there's plenty of videos on how optimal it is. But I love the attack. I think out of some of my favorite bursts to throw out, this is probably one of the best, especially because when you throw it out, when it hits an opponent, unlike Deluxe, where it goes past the opponent if they're too close, this one will always stay where the opponent is. So if it starts hitting somebody, it's not going to go past them. It's just going to sit where they are. And when you have a character like Mona or Xingqiu, you can just keep them all kind of grouped up. Sucrose using E, throwing them in the same area. It's great. It is absolutely great. I absolutely love it. And at the very end, you get an AoE cryo damage explosion. It does a little bit more damage, which is very, very good. So, one important thing about her E with her talent, her first talent, it raises your normal and charge attack damage by 30% for 6 seconds. So you want to use your E. Your E is a good thing to mix in occasionally, so that way you can get the most damage out of her charge attack. Because especially if you're freezing, you're going to freeze, you're going to press your Q maybe, you can press E, and then you can just go into charging attack. You can go dash, attack, a couple of normal strings, and then end it with charge attack. And then I believe there is a method to stopping for cancel animations, but that gets a little bit too complicated. These guys are mostly for beginners, so that's fine. So, one amazing thing about Ayaka, here, we go back up to this. So, Ayaka's dash not only allows you to move around like Mona, because that's what everybody knows her for, right? Whenever you use her dash, it applies cryo to nearby enemies and also infuses her blade with cryo. So, when you want to get her cryo damage, you want to dash and then start attacking. It's great on how easy you can apply it. And as you can see here is the infused duration, 5 seconds, and then here's also the stamina drain, 15 per second. It's a very nice part of her kit. Very good. So, after you ascend her to level 60, you get this very nice buff. After you do your dash and apply cryo, she gets a little bit of stamina back up, 10 stamina, and also gains bonus cryo damage already on top of the cryo damage you're doing. So Ayaka, you can really make her you can make her a monster to some degree. I don't have the highest charge attack damage, but I know I've seen people who are getting around, 9,000 or so. I think some of them have some 5-star weapons on her, but it's a little crazy what you can do with her. As for teams, this is what I typically run. So with Resonance, what we want is, at least for this build with the Nobelesse, what you want is to make sure that you're getting your crit rate back up. And even if I think you're running Blizzard, you might still want to do this. The only other thing that you might do is, I think, a reverse melt comp, where I would get rid of Diona as the healer. I think most people, when they do reverse melt, I don't really run reverse melt teams, so I'm not completely familiar with this. I think they usually go Bennett, and then they go Shunling, because her burst has been really good, and I think with that new set, she's also buffed a bit. Bennett here for obviously adding more attack and also having healing, and then possibly Sucrose or another Anemo character if you have a 4-piece Verdescent, because if we can see here, it decreases enemies' resistance to the element it is fusing or swirling with. So you can get more damage with your main DPS and elemental damage if you're running a character that has 4 Verdescent set. So this is one other team that people typically use. Again, the team I usually go, I believe it's called Permafreeze Comp, is I run something like Xingqiu, I run a Diona here, and then I would run Sucrose if you need to. Let's say you had like Ganyu, you're trying to throw Ganyu on a team still, put Ganyu in the spot, and then you're just gonna need another healer. Jean, great. I don't know if Sayu's gonna be a healer, but there's a possibility you're gonna be able to move her in this place as well. Anything like this would work. For me, if you're running her as a sub DPS, we go back to my team over here for Hu Tao. So I would take Yanfei out here. Wouldn't even really be running Yanfei here because she's a selfish unit. That'd only be the buff. And then here I would run Hu Tao here as the main DPS. I would run Ayaka here as the burst damage. So I have my burst damage. I would throw my burst out and I would dash as Hu Tao over and over again. Then maybe Xingqiu here if I wanted to get the vaporize, if I wanted to get the freeze. With either one, you would want to run it this way, I believe, but either way you have the extra options now. And typically when I play for options. I'm not completely playing for optimal. I just need somebody that's going to help me when I'm in the situations. I don't know anything about any physical Ayaka comps. I feel like that'd be really weird. I feel like if you're going to run her for her cryo damage. And those are the 2 sets that are recommended. Again, 4-piece Blizzard Strayer or 2-piece Nobelesse, and I think you can also run 2-piece and 2-piece Glad. And because that new set is also out, the set can replace Glad in a sense, because it's also still, where are you at? It's also still just 18 plus. It's literally a Glad set you can farm now, and you don't have to wait for the bosses to get in your way. Don't do the 4-piece. I'm not so sure if anybody's run the 4-piece. I actually want to go look up and see if anybody's done that successfully. But you would want to do 18 outside of that if you were just going for her normal charge and you just don't have enough, good cryo artifacts. So as for her weapons, her best in slot is obviously the banner weapon. The banner weapon does extreme numbers with her. I think she can, it's a couple of bosses, she can just one-shot. My sword here, the black sword, is what you get off the battle pass. The battle pass costs you about $10 if you're going to run that. Good free-to-play option, again, I think is just her sword, this current build sword. I'm not completely sure on how the elemental skill works. As you can see here, I think it gives you energy back with the E, but I think you want to run Blizzard Stray with this. Because it's another attack percentage sword, it's pretty good as far as I can remember. Other burst swords you could do, maybe a Favonius, so that way you can use your energy recharge, but I don't believe it's recommended. If anything, as you can see here, I'm running a burst Ayaka, and I went for crit rate. And I think if I had any other option, I'd probably choose the second sword. Lastly, if you have another 5-star, like I'm debating trying my Skyward Blade on her, just for the energy recharge and the higher attack percent. But I know, again, this one supposedly works really well for her, and I'm going to be building up, and then maybe I'll go post out a couple of videos of me just doing damage. So keep your eye out for that. You enjoyed this video. So I have my opinions on Ayaka. I think she's one of the better 5-stars that you can get that's pretty versatile, I would say. Especially if you're picking one that, you're not so sure about a 5-star. I think Ayaka works pretty well. I don't think it'd be too hard to get Xingqiu, right? Like, it might be a little difficult, but even if you just have Barbara, you can also run Barbara in the same spot to help you with freeze. And that way you still have, like your healer going there. Outside of that, though, I am going to say I am looking forward to Yoimiya. When we played her on stream, she felt very smooth. That's what I'm going to leave it at. She felt super smooth. I do have a video out of me trying her and looking at her kit as well and going over what I thought of her while we were mid-gameplay. So do hold out for that. If you're looking for Yoimiya, you might want to hold up. But if you're just looking for a 5-star, like a cryo 5-star that's going to do you good, Ayaka works. Also, she is like adorable. Did you see her story mode? Was that just me? All right. Was I the only one who started shrimping? She completely changed my whole outlook of her based off the story just by itself. But hopefully you enjoy. Be sure to follow us on Twitch at Twitch/TheLightningEagle, Twitch.com/TheLightningEagle. We're going to be going over builds there. We go over people's teapots to go look and check out whether or not your house looks nice. We run domains together. We go farm mobs together as well. Also, you get to see one of these cute emotes. You get to use them if you're a sub. And I hope to see you there. Hopefully, if you got Ayaka, you build her well. Hopefully, this guide is helpful. And be sure to check out other guides. My guide is not like a 100% for everyone. My guide's mostly targeted beginners and mostly my community of the Lightning Brigade. Will you screw off? All right, cool. And hopefully, let me just get him out of the way. All right, cool. Hopefully, you can enjoy a little bit of Ayaka yourself. I'll catch you all later. Lightning Brigade out. Bye.